We're here.
We're on.
We're here.
We're live.
Hi, we're on air.
Hi, y'all. How's it going?
It's happened. It's happening.
It's happening.
See, it's already happening now.
It
I'm
is.
already-
We're on the record.
Yeah.
For the record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Winter Wrong.
Hi.
I'm Lengua.
Oh, my name is Summer Wright.
Ooh.
So it's the exact opposite. It's my alter ego that
True.
comes out at night.
True. My name is Charles Levy. It's a pretty normal name, so I want a little spice it up with Lengua. You know?
So who are you to the Miami community scene?
I started out just as somebody that would be out on the dance floor, just going out, and I fell in love with the culture, and I've been doing music my whole life. So then I became a DJ, and now I'm also helping out with parties and wherever kind of people need me, like at the ground with the Other World parties with Gami. But I'm just taking anything I can do and applying that where I can in the scene.
What's your initial experience with music? Like not necessarily electronic music, just like what's your music career?
Background.
Background, yes.
Yeah. I have been in vocal lessons since I was 4. So a lot of people don't know that. I was doing pop music and performance.
Harmonize for us.
No. Don't put me on the spot. No. But I started doing that, and then I was in like alternative scene for a little bit, and then I traveled for the first time alone to Europe. I went to Markentine in Amsterdam. I saw DJ Harvey for the first time, and I fell in love, and I immediately came back. I started working at a record store, and I bumped into someone that knew the scene in Miami, and started hanging out at Gramps Tuesdays, Terrestrial Funk, like 2019. Synth Battle, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Bort actually invited me to a rave.
Of course it was boring.
Yeah, the Simo Cell, IMVT, it was across the street from the corner.
There, yeah. That was across the street from my apartment. I used to live across
I went alone. I just went. I wanted to just experience it, and I don't know. I knew I wanted to get involved and be a part of it. It was just something awesome, and everybody was so free, and I'd been restricted in the other industries that I was in, and that was kind of it. How about you?
Those first experiences in the music scene, both on like a high level, but especially in the underground level.
Exactly.
It impacts you, truly.
The difference, I feel like experiencing both really just pushed me towards electronic and that underground scene that we're a part of here, and kind of showing that off and telling people like there's something really cool and interesting here, and not everyone is exposed to it every day. So I came by it by chance, and that's just kind of what I want to do for other people, because we have a lot of talent here as well.
Precisely. I think most people that come across into it, it's by chance. It's not something they go looking for, and then they just kind of fit in, and it makes sense, and it's energy that they could associate with, they vibrate with it, and yeah.
My entrance into
Yeah, I want to know
the
this.
music scene. So I was a normal music fan. My parents, like my mom was a huge like grunge, like rocker. My dad comes from more like the jazz, 80s, that kind of background, like classic rock.
Cool, yeah.
So that was like my influence growing up. But then in college, first day out when I was at FSU, I see a dude taking pictures at the club.
The club.
And I was a photographer at the time. I was
My
like, what are you
favorite place.
doing? And like here, at like with the camera at the club, he's like, oh, I take pictures, and he's like, you're a photographer?
Pictures with his camera
Oh.
at the club.
Ooh.
And they take pictures of people, and he hired me on the spot. So for 4 years, when I was in college, I would take pictures at the club, but it went from club into events. So I was taking pictures for like Cascade like a month later. I was taking pictures for Skrillex like a year later. So
Okay,
do little
fancy.
tours with, a lot like trap artists, because trap was really big at the time. People like Fosternomus, Brills, do like little Florida like tours with them. And then once I graduated, I moved back to Miami, and
I love
started
that for
started
you.
going to like general events. Like I would go to Space, I would go to Electric Pickle,
I've only heard about that place. I was never fortunate enough to experience it.
It was a dream. It was a dream.
I heard.
Yes.
I've heard.
So started, exploring a lot of like Link Miami Rebels events. What was that place in South Beach that they would play at on 14th Street? I would go to Treehouse too, though. But yeah, so started going to those events, and it wasn't until I went to the Black Friday rave in 2018 that I discovered the underground culture.
Is that Boombox? No.
No,
Black Friday
that was
rave?
229.
Oh, 229.
That's Victor's venue.
Again, another great thing that I missed. I came right after.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that place. I've heard so many.
A lot of great things
Great
happened
stories.
there. So that was like my exposure into it. My boy Johnny played, I'm pretty sure, and like that's where I first saw like IMVT, like Sister System,
Cool,
and
yeah.
that's when me and my besties started Annex.
Her besties.
Yeah. They started throwing events there. First one was at 229. So I started supporting them a lot in the underground community, going to a lot more events.
Yeah.
And it's been
It took
a spiral since.
A spiral? No.
We've been in a good way. We've been, it's culture that we've been
Sucked into, but it's embraced us.
Yeah, it totally is like a shift.
Yes.
I feel like I'm just connected to something completely different now.
Correct.
Yeah, it is true.
And like, so, full journey from like fan to being exposed to underground culture, and now,
Spinning a lot of these underground events, working for Shotgun and as a ticketing service, and bringing a lot of these organizers and venues onto it and supporting them by any means we can.
Yeah.
organizing events, through Annex, supporting Prohibida a lot.
Love Priscilla.
Yes.
Shout out.
Now we're both residents at the Boombox.
Yeah, we are residents at the Boombox. Yeah, I love them. They're awesome. It's a great underground venue. It kind of jump-started everything for me, at least.
Mhm.
Like they used to let
Same.
me practice there. So
How did you find Boombox?
how did I find it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's something to think about. If you know how you found it, you start first. I have to
Sure.
think about it.
So I remember 2020. I believe Ultra them got me just through an event at
Okay.
Boombox, and through like the grapevine.
Leo, Low Earth Orbit,
Heard about the venue, and we went to check it out, and we threw a friend's birthday party there.
Oh,
And we
nice.
liked the venue so much, and we liked the owners, Mango, Laz, Miguel.
That was the first Boombox.
Yes, OG Boombox
OG
1.
Boombox. A
Um,
different location.
And then, 3 blocks away.
Literally.
And then we threw an annex
over.
there, and then a month later, the panini happened.
Mm.
Mm.
The panini.
Pandemic.
I know. The panini. That's funny. I remember now though.
Yes.
Yeah,
How'd
that's
you
awesome.
find it?
It was actually through just like online following everybody. It was Marceline's birthday.
True.
That was the first rave.
Mm-hmm.
Like rave. That place was packed. Like people were like flooding in and out.
Is that the one that the water
broke? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've heard this story.
The water pipes broke. Don't hang on anything, guys. Y'all are wild. Just go in, dance, go out,
Yeah.
talk.
Respect
Don't
the
climb on
venue, guys.
anything. But yeah, it was that night, and then and then I found out like the address and started figuring out when the shows were
Mm-hmm.
popping in, and I don't know. I don't know how I started practicing there. I just met Mango, and Mango is really great. Laszlo is awesome. They're two of the owners as well as Miguel, and we just bonded, I guess. And I remember I brought beers over the first time I practiced, and we smoked, we hung out.
The rest is history.
Yeah, that's it. Just
Beautiful.
building friendships.
So, you have a big gig tonight, don't you?
Oh, yes. Tonight at the ground, Bloody Mary is playing, Pierre Louise, Deep Cleansing, Organ Wash. She's from Texas. And then you have me.
The last year has been pretty crazy for you in terms of getting gigs and like solidifying yourself as an up-and-coming artist and DJ here in the scene, huh?
Yeah, it's wild to think about. But yeah, I've just kind of tried to move with honesty, you know, I'm really grateful for everybody that supported me this far. Like, I could literally get emotional about it.
Please do.
No. But yeah, it's crazy. It's really rewarding to just be myself now and have people enjoy that and share that, because all I'm doing is going out and playing what I love. So it's really awesome, actually.
So speaking of playing what you love, what are some of your inspirations when it comes to music?
I am influenced a lot by the early 2000s. I love a lot of vocals just growing up as a vocalist. So, I mean, we wrote down our little lists of our favorite producers because I can't remember anything. I have a horrible memory.
We had to check our Bandcamp and USBs.
Shh. No. But,
so you that's like the type of music that inspires you. So like,
yeah, like
what producers
I mean,
globally inspire you?
Globally, I mean, Pharrell and Timbaland will always be my top two
Classics.
because the rhythms that they make and the sounds and the samples that they use and flip, and it's just watching them produce. It's a very free environment, and they just have fun. They ad-lib. They don't laugh. They just take the parts that are good, take out the parts that they don't like. Like, there's no sort of judgment. It's just raw music.
It's redonkulous.
It's redonkulous, and it
how
makes
crazy
you dance.
some of those like Timbaland like production sound.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
They're beautiful, and they're well thought out, and sonically just for me, like, super original for the time.
Absolutely. What about electronic artists?
All the electronic artists I kind of learned probably within like the last 2-3 years. So a lot of Anitha's label, Mama Told Ya, Alex Wilcox, that song Boo, my favorite. Yeah, I played it 420 radio.
True.
But I like Basswater Freakout. It's a label in Australia. Really great guy that runs it, Adrian. Super cool DJ. A lot of good electro tracks on there.
Ooh.
Yeah, I started off playing electro, so got a shout out. But Isaiah is another one. They're from the Netherlands, and they're a good techno producer as well.
Amazing.
So I like those a lot.
Nice. I would say, like, in my whole life, like, I would say rock is probably like my biggest influence, like Linkin Park, like 90s grunge.
You like those Baila Funk Linkin Park remixes?
Yes. They go hard.
They go hard.
Like, for no reason.
It's okay. I accept. Like, that's like a beautiful combination.
So electronic music for you has been more of like the last 2-3 years type of thing, right? I would say I've been in the scene generally for about at least 10 years now, more or less, probably a little bit more, maybe like 11 years. So like I was like first like a bass head, Skrillex, or like like Excision, like things like that, and then
I like that one song, Stranger, and
Stranger
from Skrillex. That's it.
And then it's kind of developed. Like I went to Movement in 2016, and then that changed my life. Became instant techno head.
About to have my life changed.
Yes. Excited for Movement later this month.
Yes.
And then, just getting into more of like the Miami scene, that Miami bass influenced electro played a huge role in the last few years for me. Super influential.
Electro remix.
Exactly.
Check it out on
some
Charlie
of the
SoundCloud.
artists that I yes, you should.
Check it out on Charlie SoundCloud. Electro remix. Yeah.
You'll definitely shake some ass to it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yes.
So some of the producers and artists that like influence me a lot or inspire me right now, Ann Avrin, fire, super fire. Nikki Nair is like on every label I love, has like a bajillion releases. Godly, Emma Deasy, Daga.
Yes.
You said Anita or Mama Told You before. Fire.
Yeah.
Who else? Macro Hits out of New York and Brazil.
We love Amanda Musi.
We do.
She's bae.
We'll be playing on her radio show very soon.
In New York.
Yes.
That'll be a lot of fun. Monday night.
Possession. I love the techno coming out of France right now. It's beautiful. It's very sonic. It's euphoric.
Yeah, and that kick.
That kick
goes boom.
What about Miami artists? What Miami artists are you liking right now in terms of music?
Mango put me on recently, and I've actually been seeing this person's face around a lot. Near Dark.
Near Dark? Okay.
They were on a Jezebel comp, and there's a lot of good local artists on that as well. I wrote down, like IMVT, great producers, Nick Leone,
Nick Leone's amazing.
Adar. Like, we have so many great producers
Coffin
in Miami.
Tex.
Coffin Tex. It's just so hard to list everybody because there's so much great talent here.
Even outside of electronic, I've been listening to a lot of Phoenix James lately.
Oh, Phoenix James, yes, a great vocal artist.
Yes,
really cool
their new
R&B productions.
drop.
Yes,
A
beautiful.
little bit of everything, like alternative, like
True.
Yeah,
she has a lot.
yeah.
Sue's Beat. Susie.
New Stages, I believe, is the name of her new EP. Amazing.
Yeah. She's a really sweet person as well.
Yeah.
Very very
Don
easy.
Z.
Donzi is a great band.
Yes.
I've been watching Donzi before I was even in the electronic scene.
True.
Period. Love them. I'm trying to think who else. There's
just so many that it's overwhelming to think about.
And we go out quite often. We see so many different people and different types of music. So, I mean, you just have to keep watching
And we'll
MCR. I mean, there's people that come on here and you'll find new artists, new producers, and start educating yourself a little bit about our little scene here.
Absolutely. The scene is fun to go out and dance and party, etc. But understand the background of it. And I think that's, being here on MCR, that's part of our mission for the show, which actually segues into our next part.
Yes.
Why are we doing a radio show, Summer?
Because we're here to connect with people. I mean, this is such a disconnected industry sometimes. I go to the club, right? And I want to talk to people. I want to get to know people. It's just so loud. It's hard to talk to people. There's other influences involved. And, just to be able to sit back, I love my quality time. I love getting to know people. I really like getting to know where people come from and why they do what they do, why they're influenced by the world, by something that they've heard before. Like at the Sequence show, I was in the artist area. Aurora Halal was in the back, and I was talking to her, and she was telling me her parents didn't listen to music at all, like really just classical music. But I thought that was so interesting because the way that the world influenced her taste in music. She found the electronic scene. That was the thing that really she gravitated towards just on her own and like just experiencing life on the daily. So I thought that was really cool to know that somebody was influenced that way versus your experience or my experience, because people do music but you don't know exactly where or when they started doing music.
Exactly. Their inspiration, their why,
Exactly. Yeah.
And like little stories like that is like really part of the reason why this particular show is important to me. About a month before the pandemic hit, I had launched a vlog called Tusson Music, and the whole point of it was to provide platform and introduce others to the electronic scene here in Miami and abroad eventually. So in a way, this, I couldn't continue the show. So this satisfies that. And I am passionate about getting past the surface level, understanding, people's why, their inspiration. So we're definitely going to be inviting a lot more locals, especially locals here on our show. Hopefully some artists stopping by, touring here in Miami, get some perspective about scenes abroad.
Yeah, it's awesome to know and meet people that are doing what you're doing somewhere else. It's really honestly inspiring and encouraging, and it's almost like a reset to just meet someone that you've never met before and see the hard work that they're putting in, just like you are, MCR is, or all these parties that we're throwing. So
absolutely perfectly said. What show or what direction do you think we're gonna take this show? What kind of stuff do you expect us to be doing on here?
I don't know. I mean, just a lot of good, funny chats. Hopefully deep, and we'll get
definitely
into
funny.
it.
We like to giggle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little nervous, so.
It's a first show. It's all good.
Yeah, got to warm up to it, and then you get to really know me.
We got layers. We're onions.
we're ogres.
We have
layers. Yeah, exactly.
And I oop.
But go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Why us? Why are we working together?
'cause we're besties.
We are besties.
No, Charlie is a great person, a great friend. Truly inspiring to watch how giving he is and how much he wants to help the scene and how selfless he does it. Like, does not expect anything back. Just pure love and culture, like, for
I'm
the
gonna
music,
cry, man.
for, you know, I love to surround surround myself with people like you, and I just hope we can continue this friendship, you know. That's why I'm doing it, you know.
Of course.
If not you, then who? I really don't know.
We're such a dynamic duo. I think
Yeah.
like we're balanced at the end of the day.
Yes.
You know, where my logic is balanced by your emotion, your creativity, inspired.
Me?
Like, I think like I'm just so grounded sometimes that like your high energy like brings me out of my shell and inspires me to just be more giddy, more happy, more outgoing, and I need that.
I'm a silly girl. Yeah.
You bring the silly out of me.
Yeah, I love that. I'll take it.
You're also a loving person and caring person, don't
No.
you know?
No.
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 Are we just gonna keep complimenting each other now?
No. We can't. It'll go on for hours.
It will.
But
It's crazy though. I've known you for less than a year. And
yeah, we've known each other
we've
less
gotten
than a
to this
year.
point.
Hey, when it works, it works.
It works.
You know,
It be working.
time is very. It's a very minimal
Time's
way
not
to
real.
view something. You know, it's how people make you feel and how people help you, support you, and vice versa. It's the balance.
I think the thing that we share most in common among ourselves is
Let me check.
our authenticity.
Perfect.
I feel like there's no BS between us. Like
No.
and like what we give, what we tell people, you know, what we say is what we say.
Yes,
And
and it's much easier to live this way.
it is, yes.
I'm not saying it's easy, but it's much easier.
Especially in a place like South Florida, there is a lot of dark characters,
Mm-hmm.
bad influences. So, you know, being around someone like you that's like a beam of light really is inspirational.
Stop.
It makes me happy.
Aww. Aww. But
But that I think
Thank
that's a
you.
good overall about us,
Yes.
about our
enough
history.
talking about us.
Yeah, I don't like talking about myself too much.
I do. No.
And I mean that's the purpose of the show, you know. Now
The audience knows our history. They know what we're about. And we're going to be bringing more artists. We're going to be bringing...
Super excited
more
for that.
voices,
Yeah.
people that need platform and that you all should know about. And that's important.
Yeah.
It is important.
And also, if you feel like there's somebody that, you know, you want to suggest or anything like that, you can send us, you know, some names, and we'll keep it all together. We want everybody on. We want to just expose and help and have really good conversations about music.
Absolutely. We're very open to suggestions for guests, for questions to ask on here, for segments.
And let us know any events going on. We'd love to shout out as many as we can.
Speaking of which,
Yep.
so for the record,
our show is going to be
2 hours.
Yes.
It is bi-weekly on Fridays, 7 to 9 p.m. First hour being the talk portion podcast, as we're doing currently. We'll be inviting guests to speak, to hear their story, hear everything, their perspective. And we're going to also be doing...
a mix the second hour, inviting
Our friend Mango tonight.
yes,
Mango will be our first guest,
Yes.
owner and creative director of The Boombox.
Miami.
I
love
think
them.
most people in the scene could agree that it's been the incubator for the underground scene the last year.
I think
or so.
it's been our constant.
the biggest.
It's been our constant.
It has been our constant, that's for sure.
You know.
So it felt appropriate to bring
yeah.
them on. Someone that put us on, we're gonna put them on.
Full circle.
It is full circle. So we'll be on again in 2 weeks. So shows up until then that we like to highlight.
Go ahead.
All right, so let's talk about tonight. You talk about your show tonight first.
Tonight at the Ground starts at 11, ends at 5, with Bloody Mary, Deep Cleansing, Organ Wash, Pierre Louis, and myself. Right?
Period.
I hope.
Bloody Mary?
I said Bloody Mary,
Did
no?
you?
I don't know. I hope I said everyone. I think I did.
Yeah.
That is tonight. I'm excited about that. And then
Tonight also we have
Right down the
Jezebel
street.
at ATV Records featuring Two Lanes,
Yes.
Board Lord, and Bort.
Bort.
Yes.
We talked about him earlier too.
Exactly.
Tomorrow night, Saturday the 7th, we have the Boombox Backroom Sessions collab featuring Petite League. Next week, on Friday the 13th,
Spooky.
we have Stamina throwing a rave featuring Umfang, Juana, Marisex,
Marisex.
back-to-back Zay. Your
Love them queens.
same night, we have Techno Warehouse Project, headlined by Norbach with support by Alan Gallego and Low Earth Orbit.
Shout out Leo.
Shout out Leo the dog.
Some cool stuff going on.
A lot
So
of cool stuff going on.
make sure to check it out because
Absolutely.
I know you can.
And speaking of cool stuff, we are on MCR. It's been on for about a month now.
Yes.
There's a lot of buzz around it. People are curious to know what it is. So we're actually going to bring on
Some special guests.
the core team of MCR, talk a little
Yes.
bit more
Let's bring 'em on.
about what their mission is, what is MCR, potentially how you could get involved, learn more about it.
And you can ask your questions there too. You can follow their Instagram, Miami Community Radio.
Boom, boom, boom.
So
Welcome, y'all. Come on in.
come
Don't be shy.
in. Oh my goodness.
Zoom out the camera.
Come see.
Hello, hello.
Skirt. 1 second.
It's quite a nice sized group here. We feel like a big happy family.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah, we just need like a little fire kind of a situation.
I know.
You know what
Next
I mean?
time I'm gonna
Yeah.
get like a fire pit where I'm just gonna be sweating. But that's fine. We'll just sit through it.
Hello, MCR team. How's everyone doing?
Good. How are
What's
you?
up?
Cool. Did
Just
everyone
really well.
introduce themselves?
Yeah. You wanna-
Sure. Yeah. I'm Philip. My artist moniker is Goon Green, which actually started as a radio alias during my time at WVUM, and then I decided to kind of just make it an all-encompassing thing because I try to stay active in a lot of different realms, and I guess I didn't want to go down the route of all these different aliases and stuff like that. Although I do respect that a lot, and it's maybe a path that I'll follow at some point. But for now, it's like it's all me. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel the need to, I guess, separate my identities. But yeah, no, I've been involved in music for a while. My like background in music is kind of like in studying pretty seriously like classical and jazz. Like basically I started studying classical, then I got into jazz later, started playing cello, and then when I got into jazz I picked up the bass, and then I picked up the electric bass after that. Went to school for music, graduated last year. But Miami really was kind of what pushed me towards being more interested in the electronic scene. WVUM actually, 90.5 FM, wonderful radio station, really opened me up to a lot of different like music and stuff that I'd never checked out before, basically. Because coming into college, my idea of electronic music was extremely minimal. Like, I just thought it was like EDM BS, basically. Like, I didn't really have like any kind of like respect for it or like context for like, how like fire it can be, frankly. Or the community that surrounds it that makes it like more, you know what I mean? I feel like the dance aspect of it really makes it into something. And I feel like honestly as though that's just something that's lost from a lot of like other musical cultures is the connection between music and dance. But anyway, I don't want to go off onto too many tangents. Yeah, basically I'm just been involved in radio since I've been here in Miami. It's really cool to have spaces where you can just appreciate music and culture and share it like for the sake of itself. Because especially as a musician, and once I got into producing and stuff, it's, you're thinking so much about how to improve and kind of the nitty gritty of it, the granular details, that it, you can lose like the magic basically. So radio has like kept the magic there, I guess, for me. But anyway, yeah.
What an
Amazing.
intro.
I love every detail of that.
Hard to follow.
sorry.
Yeah, so my name is Mauricio Arambula. I go by the name of Mauricio the Invisible.
I don't see him.
Just like
I can't.
the Homer Simpson meme of like, just like,
Yeah, you just see back into the bushes.
Yeah, so I grew up in Mexico City, and in the outskirts of a town called Guadalajara, which is around like an hour away from Puebla, which is like the mecca of sound system culture in Mexico. So that's like the culture I grew up around till I was around like 6 or 7 years old, until my family immigrated here to the States. Not here to Florida directly, to South Florida specifically, but so when I touched down in South Florida during that whole process, growing up here, what was big was rap music and hip hop. You know, as I got into sports naturally, that was a huge thing, and I naturally just migrated to more so like the beats aspect of like just hip hop culture in general. So that's what kind of like tapped me into just appreciating music and beats. And then that alongside the sound system culture that I grew up in kind of like led me into an engineering type of purpose, I guess, while I was in school. So I got a lot of like ideas early on as to for opening up my own like sound system, or like starting my own parties and whatnot. So I started a project in Sarasota, which is where I landed ultimately, I've been there for like around like 10 years until I moved here, which was about 2 years ago. I've frequented Miami for a while, but officially moved down here a couple of years ago. Nonetheless, I started a project in Sarasota called Define Rhythm, and that was a concept more so around culture convergence and I guess pairing dichotomies in music, and more so Define Rhythm acting as a question more so than a statement, if that makes any sense. So essentially, Define Rhythm would be poised as, define rhythm. What does it mean to you? You know what I mean? So that's like the perspective coming into these parties. Ultimately, I realized Sarasota is a very retirement like city. Like, there's 80% of like
after the retirement home
Yeah.
are crazy.
yeah. So it was hard to get something popping off there. Nonetheless, the motivation was still there. So I moved here, where I noticed a lot of like the people that were making music that I was admiring were here. So made the move down here, and just naturally, making friends, building relationships, nothing forced. And then this project came along as those relationships were built, and we're here now. Yeah.
Beautiful. That was a good follow-up.
Yeah, well done.
Next.
Yo,
You're
what up?
You.
Tell us who you are.
who is you?
I am NGP, Sindel, Nick Forrester. I'm not going to go down the list. I am Nicholas G. Padilla, and I'm here.
What's up?
Yeah, what up?
Welcome.
My
Letter.
friend.
What's up?
Who is you?
Yeah, I could go deeper into that. Born and raised here in Miami. Been doing my thing here with a lot of amazing people. I've seen a lot of paradigms take place, begin and end. Start off with SOS with Brian Perez and Mecca nightclub
I used to
in
go to those back in the
downtown.
day.
Totally different nightlife experience from what we have now. We have safe spaces now. We have young organizations being developed. Back then, it was very different.
You've
so
seen the
Emphasis
scene go
on the
through it.
safe part.
Oh yeah.
So you've seen it all.
So I haven't seen it all.
No?
No. There was definitely an era beforehand, and like meeting people like Romulo del Castillo, even Domingo, that comes by the office quite often. That wisdom from like the generation before us, that's golden. So, and that was like more experimental, like underground, IDM, electro.
Awesome.
But yeah, I definitely haven't seen it all by like any stretch of the means.
We'll have to invite some of those names for some
Yeah.
education.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just a torchbearer, just like how we all are here, and we're an educator archetype in our own ways, different in terms of like our specialization and what we've experienced. But yeah, just like helping out and throwing my my pot into the dirty dish. Circuit.
Dirty dishes.
Beautifully said. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes.
Who are you?
Another dirty dish. I guess. Yeah.
What kind of dirty dish do you identify
Yeah,
as?
like DJ Dirty Dish.
DJ Dirty Dish.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Claim
I'd
it.
probably
Marcella
be
has a
like
new DJ
a
every Saturday.
a coffee stained mug. There would definitely be like a ring around the middle of the mug, like unfinished,
Always.
Like a
colder
lipstick
than room
stain on
temperature. Yeah, well, like a sheer lip gloss. That's more my vibe. But my name is Marcella. Am I speaking the right way? Okay. My name is Marcella. I go by a few names, I guess. Halo for Horns, Fragmentary Memories, and recently, like as of a week ago, DJ Viewfinder, but that's yet to come. I've spent my whole life in Miami, born and raised. I grew up in West Kendall. Now I live around South Miami. And I used to want to leave Miami, honestly, like when I was getting ready to go to school. I graduated high school in 2018. So badly I wanted to like go to the Northeast. I thought that I wanted to go to Boston, of all places. So random. I feel like I just picked Boston, and I was like, I gotta go there. My father's from Boston. Or however you say it. And Tufts was like my dream school. I applied early decision. I got rejected. Then I was like, okay, so now what? And then I really like took a step back and looked at my options, and I realized that staying in Miami was like the only other thing I'd probably be comfortable doing, as much as I thought I wanted to leave. And 4 years later, especially because of the pandemic, I'm really glad that I stayed. And it's been, I've had involvement with music. I've been part of WVUM my 4 years at UM. It's how I met Phil. And I feel like despite growing up in Miami my whole life, I've never felt connected to the community. I felt like it was a very like kind of isolated, maybe cliquey space. I didn't really know how to break into it. Plus, like, my nature is kind of maybe a little more shy or introverted, so I wasn't really, like, willing to take the risk and, like, potentially go out and embarrass myself in public, like, trying to break into the scene or get to know people. But, the pandemic certainly put things into perspective. You don't want to be isolated and alone. You can only do that for so long, so I really decided that I wanted to make a change and like really do something locally. I love this city, even though I thought I wanted to leave it. And I'm glad that, like, I'm very grateful to be part of this team now and feel like I can actually achieve this goal of like helping to be a part of and build the community and actually feel connected to it.
We're thankful to having you. All of
Yes, thank you
And
guys
MCR
for all
team.
being here. I mean,
Yes.
what a great surprise, and I don't know, it's just nice to know that everybody comes from something a little different.
Absolutely different perspectives,
Yeah.
different viewpoints. I'm gonna do a lightning round. I'm gonna point to different people,
All right,
Awesome.
who's
Let's
getting
go.
the hot seat?
Let's do it.
and I'm sure a lot of these questions we could go on and on, but let's try to simplify it for the audience.
True.
What is MCR?
MCR is a decentralized autonomous organization. That essentially means that we are doing co-op 2.0 type of operations with the tools and the access that we have nowadays in the 21st century. It's interesting. We're kind of living in the Stone Age sometimes when we look at technology nowadays. We're talking
Or
about
even
this the other night, but-
infrastructures.
But yeah, it's providing a new on-ramping for community members to actually participate, to vote, to have shared ownership, to eventually have money, finances through stipend and grant programs, long-term sustainability in a city that is constantly being very exploitative, and assuming that we're okay with having 2, maybe 3 jobs and trying to afford a car. And so all these like issues that we're seeing manifested through us, we can change, right? We have the option to change. And so MCR is essentially zooming all the way back out, one solution to this issue. We hope that MCR inspires a whole crew of people to start their own organizations that solve other problems. But we're just solving one issue, and that's talent platform management. So, and that mission may change through community voting. That's the mission right now, but I may be voted out. You know, the core team may be voted out, and that's cool. That's how organizations should run. So, yeah, MCR is essentially a new way of re-empowering the artists in our city where they have little to no power or legal representation, and they're more of an asset, or they're more of a luxury for a larger mechanism and system that's way more complicated, that we don't see all the dimensions to. So that's essentially what MCR is.
Amazing.
How can you get involved with MCR?
Yeah, so there's all these different opportunities for engagement. At the moment, one of the most, I guess, approachable to a certain extent, obviously, depending on your background and stuff, is to have a residency or to submit like a guest mix and try to put your voice out there. Something that we're really intentional about is kind of breaking down these hierarchical structures and just any kind of systems in place that keep people from having those opportunities and putting themselves out there. So we're really trying to be specific about trying to engage with as many different people of as many different talent spheres from as many different cultures as possible, basically, because Miami Community Radio has to be the community. You know, it's not supposed to be just like some little section of it that you know, whatever feeds whatever thing it needs to. Mm-hmm. Community has to be community, and that, you know, kind of connects back to the mission of the organization in terms of connecting all these different people and kind of legitimizing the process, serving as kind of like a root essentially to the tree from which all these different branches can grow out of. But I guess to get back to the specific question, yeah, there's various different opportunities for engagement. Obviously radio, there's so many different areas you can have a show. You know, we're looking for graphic design help as well. As we look towards event programming, there's various responsibilities that come with throwing events and things like that. You know, sound engineering, et cetera. Organizational help, file organizational help, especially as we try to kind of scale up and create our own station library and organize that and everything, having people in place to help with that. Yeah, we're still obviously in the infant stages, being that we've only broadcasted for a month, so we're still, you know, truthfully kind of figuring out, you know, what exactly those areas are, and as always, we're open to suggestions, and if anyone has something that they specifically feel like could be brought to the radio space, we're more than welcome to talk about that. But yeah, I hope that answered the question. Yeah.
Beautiful answer.
Perfectly said.
Yeah.
I'm going to direct this question to the three of you, because from my experience, from my knowledge, you three have radio experience to some degree, especially music, actually. What makes MCR different from other radio platforms, aside from the DAO aspect that Nick just touched upon? Like, what, in your opinion, makes it different from some of the other, especially online radio stations that we've seen come through Miami before?
I would honestly say, like, a lack of censorship. Like, to me, especially, I was just thinking about this, like, a few minutes ago, when you guys were talking between yourselves before we came on, and you were, like, mentioning, you know, all these local spots and these people, and, you know, all love to WVUM, but it is, like, a publicly funded and, like, you know, like, government, you know, run radio. There are certain rules and regulations that you have to abide by. Like, it can be very limiting, like what kind of programming you have, what you can do and say, and what you can do with your funding. And to have like a community-based and just way more open and flexible like arena to do something in. Like when I was doing my rotation show last week and I was playing like a rap song that has like some curse words in it, I asked Nick, I'm like, are we allowed to have curse words on here? Because on WVUM, like I'm just not used to it. And I was like,
it's beautiful.
Where's the dump button? Like, like he just said fuck.
You're gonna like scratch it out.
Yeah, so like it's
fuck,
like
fuck, fuck.
I have to like
Freedom.
relearn like not to like censor myself, but it is comforting in a way to know that like there's really no limit.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Who is currently involved with MCR from the artist perspective?
From the artist perspective,
Yes,
as far as
who are
like
current-
residents?
Who are current residents?
Wow. It's a hard question to answer just because of how many
Yeah.
we are planning to onboard
TBD.
with quote unquote phase 2, which
Ooh.
is still in development.
When is phase 2, you think?
Yeah,
When?
so phase 2 is, what would you say, Nick, like within this month?
I would say you two are phase 2.
This is a start. This is a start
Yeah.
of phase 2.
Phase 2, baby.
Yeah, so the both of you are phase 2. We're actually on the cusp of like phase 1 ending and phase 2 beginning.
Awesome.
There's some operational things that we've agreed on as like an internal team to address as like primary, secondary, and tertiary tasks. And so we have about 16 residents that we're onboarding right now outside of the 15 that we currently have right now.
And you can also find those residents through mcr.watch in the upper right-hand side menu. You can click on that, and it'll have a residents tab. So you can look at who's currently officially a resident, and their description as well. I think we also tagged their work, so it's a great option or a great way to get to know these residents.
Just a quick thought that came with relation to a difference of MCR is in our mission to support the community in a really direct and intentional way. We're being more radical in our approach to allowing community members to bring in their own voice in like a very specific way of like, you know, bringing in your own music or performing your own music.
Their own programming.
Exactly, yeah. Which within traditional radio is a huge no-no basically, because you're not supposed to promote your own stuff. You know, it's like unethical or whatever, which, you know, depending on the way that it's approached, you could make the argument that it is. But because of the radical nature of Miami Community Radio, and because we're genuinely just trying to create more opportunity and platform for people, it's not an issue basically. So it's like we can really like fuck the red tape, you know what I mean? Like we can just get away from all this stuff that's in place kind of as like a blocking point basically that you have to like find some way to get around or whatever. You can do your best, but if none of that stuff exists, then you can just do what you want to do, you know what I mean? And really like create sustainability and some real like roots for people, legitimize their process, and off to the races from there.
Bars.
Bars, write
Indeed.
that down, y'all. Write that.
All right. I think it's time for some fun questions.
Yeah. Okay,
All right.
cool. We got some time.
I'm gonna.
Dale.
We could go around the room
Dale.
for this one. So with MCR having various spots, rotational shows, who's your dream MCR guest to have on? Whether it's a
Everyone
mix
gets to
or
answer.
guest to talk, whichever.
Azalea Banks.
Azalea
Ooh.
Banks.
I mean, honestly, maybe we could figure that out. No, just kidding.
She's yeah, controversial, but like undeniably talented, and she's in the area. She lives in Miami
That's
right
what
now.
I'm saying.
Oh, I didn't know.
No way.
Yeah, they live in Miami now.
And she's very about like crypto and Web3 as of recently, so,
Okay,
at least
so
from what I've seen.
it fits the philosophy.
I don't think we have the funds. Ooh, I like that manifestation.
Yeah, I would say Holly Herndon. So she's like worked with Matt Dryhurst and like Joshua Cilarella. So they pretty much come from a very interesting part of like internet culture, which is like New Models. I'm not sure if you all have heard the podcast New Models. It's very like underground, but yeah, the intersection between, you were talking about this earlier with convergence culture, but the intersection between like organizations and like crypto and like artists and like independent research. So I think Holly Herndon is the epitome of like an interdisciplinary artist, and like she has like a choir background. I think she has a PhD in like vocal. She's like and AI. So she has like a dual. Yeah, she's like a genius. So like her being on MCR would be fire. It'd be dope. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool amount of insight.
Absolutely. How about yourself?
I think for me personally, a dream guest or resident would be, it's called Sonido Fantasma from Puebla, from Mexico City. Their sonidero, which is their sound engineer, he goes by the name of Bumper, and he's around like 60 years old right now. But he originally did essentially all the sound for I would say 80% of the sound systems in Mexico, Also did sound engineering for Queen when they were when they had a show in Puebla. But as of recently, he's been working pro bono to get a lot of the young sound system entrepreneurs up and running, engineering-wise, advising, and the knowledge he has just in general of like that whole culture and how it ties to like punk and that whole like trajectory into cumbia and like down tempo cumbia and how it originated in Mexico. That would be like a super necessary conversation to have, both sonically and verbally.
Yeah.
So that'd be like
A lot of DJs I feel like are influenced by that sound in Miami specifically. So
yeah, a lot of like the down tempo dembow and cumbia, like yeah, huge.
Love it. Phil?
Yeah, for me, I feel like I gotta say Chucho Valdez. He's this like Cuban pianist and educator, son of Bebo Valdez, and he has a son Chuchito that's also a piano player. It's something that's like really fascinating to me in how like more common it is within Latin culture of kind of like families that have a long lineage of musicians and stuff like that. And in general, that's just something that just really fascinates me is like, when you can have a space and a conversation with some of these guys that are just masters beyond like words and really try to get into their head, you know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes there's just a disconnect where the spaces that they're given to talk about things is not really like, it's not really getting into it, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just something that I think about a lot is like with these artists who are less so vocal, about their mission and kind of what they're about, like trying to bring it out of them, you know what I mean, in some kind of way. So that's just, and for me, like being that he's just someone that inspired me so much from when I was younger, it would be really insane, honestly, to be in the same room as him. But yeah, and he played in Miami last year, so maybe he'll come by again. I saw him at the Arch Center with my friend. It was super beautiful.
Nice. I hope all your dream guests.
I know.
That would be wild.
I'm like, I'm gonna think about it every night and like manifest it and be like, we're gonna get all these people on.
Okay. When was the last time you were wowed, either
By a live performance, DJ, or by a piece of music that's been released? Like truly, like wow.
Yeah, when was the last time?
That's a great question.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Literally wow.
I think for me, like, I mean, I think we were talking about this like last week. Maybe it's a basic answer, but seeing Bjork at the Arts Center with the
True.
full-backed like local orchestra too.
local orchestra? I didn't
Yeah.
know.
it
Yeah,
was-
yeah.
yeah,
They probably
the-
only had like
the
a week of
com-
rehearsals. Yeah.
Yeah, the composer, he flew out from
Yeah.
Iceland to direct the orchestra, but yeah, it was like breathtaking, awe-inspiring. Like it really, like, took me to another planet, brought me to tears, and all the way around again. It was just like the most astounding experience of music I've had recently, and definitely the best show I've ever seen in my life so far.
Wow.
Yes.
I would say when it comes to like pre-recorded music, yeah, John Object, unbelievable producer from Eastern Europe. Just like he has an EP called Heat, and the sound design that he has behind that is just like unreal. Very like deconstructed. I would also say Matmos, my friend from Berlin, Stoyan, shout out Stoyan. He showed me Matmos. He actually was like close to him. He was like his engineer instructor. But essentially he sampled a laundry machine and made a conceptual album out of literally one sample. And it's like insane sound design, like
That's clean.
stereo shapers, like polarity offsetting, like
That's what I'm trying
the
to do.
whole kit and caboodle. So like that's dope. Like conceptual music,
Love that.
yes. But yeah, that's like one of the main releases that have made me go wow in the past year and a half.
Okay.
It was really inspirational. Yeah.
What about y'all?
For me, one of the projects that's come out recent, it's interesting because I feel like I haven't had, that moment when it's like you're listening to something and it's like, and you're going to listen to it over and over again, basically. I feel like I haven't had that too much recently. I'm like waiting for it to kind of come back or whatever.
The
I guess
next
so, like,
smack of inspiration.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But I will say, Earl's most recent album really kind of hit with me just because of like how much he inspired me when I was younger and stuff with Doris and I Don't Like Shit. And it took a couple listens for me to really get into it, but
Earl Sweatshirt?
yeah. Yeah, highly recommend his new album if you guys haven't checked it out.
Super fun.
Really cool album. Insane production, and the features he pulls are like wild. Like, yeah, really cool album.
This is a super hard question for me. Mainly one, performance is about, as far as live performances, I'm kind of a hermit, so playing into the invisible name, I don't really show my face out too much. And as far as like music in general, it's like a constant thing of being wowed, honestly. So maybe I'm just gonna tune into my show, and then you'll see like the music that wows me like at all times.
Give me all those track ideas.
At 9
You're
p.m.,
wild all the
correct?
time.
9 p.m. show?
No, but seriously, like.
Yeah, when is it? Tell us when your show is.
Oh,
What day
it's
and time.
so it's Fridays from 9 to 10.
9 to 10.
And that's
Yeah, so you guys
bi-weekly.
don't have to wait
Right
that
after
long.
this.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, but in general, I would say just a lot of music from Miami's been wowing me a lot, actually. Diving more into like even the space tapes archives, like the amount of music that was getting created like back in the day, which is not too long ago, honestly. It's super like it's insane that music that was being created around that time was being created, and that it's like not being, or like at least it's not being championed as it should be, but yeah.
The electronic scene is very like new, and it's always innovating, and it's always changing its sound, and different regions have different sounds, so it's always kind of whenever you get on that algorithm,
And I think what you just said speaks to a larger purpose of MCR. It's it's documenting the history of the music here in Miami, which often gets lost in the past, lost in translation. So that's
Kind of
Hold up,
archiving
I gotta
everything.
click pause for a second.
Yeah.
Zach, if you're watching this, avisa.
Avisa.
All right, okay.
All right, guys. It is 8 o'clock, I
Yeah,
believe,
I
more or
think
less.
more or
Top
less.
of the hour.
Thank you so much.
Talk portion
Thank
is
you,
over. We
guys.
appreciate you guys for
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
having us
guys.
on MCR,
Yeah.
for talking,
Amazing
giving the
host.
explanation about your project, how important it is.
now we have a special guest.
Yes. Hi guys, thank you so much.
Ooh.
Thanks
we have
again.
Our special guest, Mango, DJ, part owner of the Boombox. He's gonna come in here and play his beats. You want to say anything to everybody?
What are our homies?
I didn't eat today.
Someone
There it
get
is.
This man some food.
Yeah, get this man some food.
This man is hungry.
All right,
As Mango gets on the decks, I
He
just
can
want-
have some beats.
He can eat some beats. As Mango gets
It's on.
on, let's do some shout outs.
Oh yeah, true. All right, go off.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Shout out my parents that are watching right now. I
Oh,
hope
true.
they're watching. I hope they didn't tune out.
Come on, mom and dad. Shout out to everyone in this room right now, and helping us put this on. That's because I could shout out for life.
True.
If
Shout out to
yeah,
you.
shout out to my mom. She's not watching this, but she'll watch it later.
Summer's mom was raving with us. At
Oh yeah, my
Sequence
mom
last
came
week.
to Sequence.
We
Yeah,
had a
she
great
was
time.
raving in the background. She was like, "You better play your song." She was about to smack me if I didn't. No.
Yeah.
Here, perfect.
we're gonna.
Oh. All right, guys.
First show, guys. Sorry.
We're hopping off now, and we're gonna transition into Mango's set. We're gonna start it over right now.
5-minute break. Guys.
The sound of the rain tapping on my window woke me. The sun was still set. I couldn't neglect a bit of guilt.
Bring out the dots, get back to basics. If I get stopped, it's back to basic. Bad B lost on my waps and laces. Ting set, good no, she can't be basic. Feds ask questions, I get evasive. That's no comment up in the station. Gang can't sleep on a violation. Swear I'ma spend all my savings.
Switch off my iPhone, back to basics. No, we ain't watching faces. Violate us, man, are catching cases. I was on the high road, armed and dangerous. Stepping in some runaway trainers, no introduction needed. Painting, already know what my name is. And this year's only money I'm chasing.
Don't make me spend all my savings, do it for the cause. Go play the field, gang fluent with the ball. Life is tough and you ain't with the law. 7 jobs, no, you ain't been on tour. You ain't never been on license, festo, trying to put a bill for your door. Yo, go there, do it with a ramble, do it with a force. To the scrub, I can do it in a wave or do it with a stove. I just stamp the stand and shine and I ain't even do it with my toes. I can rock this scrub into pebbles or do it in a low. They think I do. Do the gang them do it on the road. Didn't they know it's the usual? Now me and Skep in the studio. Wrist all numb for the cuffs, so I just bust on my Cuban. Lord knows life was confusing. Now I'm just chuffed. No trim, they don't care if my head back rough. Same way all of them galley on us. Bring out the dots, get back to basics. If I get stopped, it's back to basic. Bad B lost on my waps and laces. Ting set, good no, she can't be basic. Feds ask questions, I get evasive. That's no comment up in the station. Gang can't sleep on a violation. Swear I'ma spend all my savings.
Switch off my iPhone, back to basics. No, we ain't watching faces. Violate us, man, are catching cases. I was on the high road, armed and dangerous. Stepping in some runaway trainers, no introduction needed. Painting, already know what my name is. And this year's only money I'm chasing. True stories, I ain't got a lie in my raps. I was beside the fence with a 9 on my lap. Gotta look straight forward, try to relax. If I get pulled this time, it's a wrap. And I still get flashback to the cold nights in the trap. A man slept on the floor, no heater. Tottenham, where I put the tea in Tanita. On a first name basis with the shopkeeper. And he already knows what I came for. Clean film and a Ribena. Big smoke on the feature, come a long way from drawers in the pouch. 13 scores in my mouth on the same line, trying to get all of it out. Fast forward, now I turn star boy, man, I don't stand on corners. Two left feet and your diamonds dancing, why your shine looks so awkward. It's one on the chorus, with the best skepta, that's what the guys have ordered. And you better lock up your wife and daughters, cause all my guys are ballers. Bring out the dots, get back to basics. If I get stuck, it's back to basic. Lost on my webs and laces, things like good, no, she can't be basic. Best ask questions, I get evasive. That's no comment up in the station. Get to sleep on the violation. And I spend all my savings.
We're smoking reefer, and you don't want.
that shit get bang, saying that I'm from Rotherham when you never come from Nottingham. Man with the cash, that won't be a problem. But you're ready money when I start hotting them. I feel ill like I've been vomiting, feel ill. That's calm when I'm with my blueprint. Everybody not hollering. Foot that shit, so smash your face in. Man say that he never been Nottingham. These are the things that I've been Nottingham. Hoes and reasons in Nottingham, but these also pretty things in Nottingham. These MCs going in Nottingham. Cash might get split in Nottingham. Some man do road in Nottingham, so you might just get jerked in Nottingham. Man say that he never been Nottingham. These are the things that I've been Nottingham. Hoes and reasons in Nottingham, but these also pretty things in Nottingham. These MCs going in Nottingham. Cash might get split in Nottingham. Some man do road in Nottingham, so you might just get jerked in Nottingham. If you wanna go back to back, I'm hiding them. 6 days in a week, see me in a Nottingham. Last day, man might play up to Tottenham. All women are ready, cause I've been a lot of them. Wanna cash, are you offering? And he told me to go, but I ain't offering. If you don't info, J dot or Nottingham, Kaiser or Nottingham, Edna or Nottingham, Reezy or Nottingham, Notty or Shineham. Bet P's and with whatever the lot of them. You don't wanna war with the Nottingham, Donovan Spears in my city like Trump, there's a lot of them. Her man never chatting and bragging about popping them, but he ain't popping them seen. You don't wanna war with the Nottingham team. Why can we come just like Meat Machine? Man say that he never been Nottingham. These are the things that I've been Nottingham. Hoes and reasons in Nottingham, but he's also pretty things in Nottingham. These MCs going in Nottingham. Cash might get split in Nottingham. Some man do road in Nottingham, so you might just get jerked in Nottingham. Man say that he never been Nottingham. These are the things that I've been Nottingham. Hoes and reasons in Nottingham, but he's also pretty things in Nottingham. These hoes and reasons in Nottingham, but he's also pretty things in Nottingham. These hoes and reasons in Nottingham, but he's also pretty things in Nottingham. These hoes and reasons in Nottingham, but he's also pretty things in Nottingham. These hoes and reasons in Nottingham, but he's also pretty things in Nottingham. These hoes and reasons in Nottingham, but he's also pretty things in Nottingham. These hoes and reasons in Nottingham, but he's also pretty things in
Now push it.
Now push it.
êtes des animaux. Vous 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 allez crever.
if you do nothing for my body, I the one buy you plane, you the one Benz. You the 10 shocky to Azonto. Shaku in my condo. Tell me what you want in my habo. Open sound in my come about the window. The window. No, send me message, you know one said. How can I just beg for sex? This be something with for this case. If I talk now, you say I did this step. Why am Africa, them my bread? No be you, the butter my bread. Want to my cat, all of my friends. 14 and so safe free my end. Ice cream, when you touch me, ice cream. Lake vanilla, strawberry, they really sweet me. White, blue, red, green. When you touch me, ice cream. Too much sugar in your love, they really hurt me. Tell me message, you know one said. How can I just beg for sex? This be something with for this case. If I talk now, you say I did this step. Why am Africa, them my bread? No be you, the butter my bread. Want to my cat, all of my friends. 14 and so safe free my end. Ice cream, when you touch me, ice cream. Lake vanilla, strawberry, they really sweet me. White, blue, red, green. When you touch me, ice cream. Too much sugar in your love, they really. You the 10 day to a midnight. With the love 7, then the 10 fights. Charlie make you tell me your shoe size. I'm a go France bar, I'm a 12 bro white. Your love, they bright but good. Chocolate cocoa. I'll show you what you don't know. Oh, yo. Whenever I see you calling, I don't go waste time, I go pick up. Whenever I see you falling, I go tend to a bed, make you fall on up. Do you hear me? If I don't see my good, you go near me. Will you hear me? For the 7 minutes, you will hear me. Go down low. Stay there. If you can't toi. Learn to the boogie on the dance floor. Whether you be tenant or landlord. Shake booty, let the booty do the talk. Whether suck for hip hop or the dancer. Do the columenta. Just graze on the instrumental. Left, right, man, I'm ambidexter. Yeah, boom, nasa. Make I see you dance one leg. And dance real slow. Make I see you move sese. And go down low. Make I see you dance one leg. And dance real slow. Make I see you move sese. And go down low. Hey you DJ, to get me in the mood it is not easy. I still got me in the mood now. Just try your best and press the replay. Keep the tempo, let the beat play. You be so naughty. When we get tired now, we go throw money. But just shake the body. Make I see you dance one leg. And dance real slow. Make I see you move sese. And go down low. Make I see you dance one leg. And dance real slow. Make I see you move sese. and go down low. What a bam bam, see the song will make you shake your bam bam. This the crazy sound you get when you mix the Accra with the London. What a bam bam, see the song will make you shake your bam bam. This the crazy sound you get when you mix the Accra with the London. What a bam bam, see the song will make you shake your bam bam. This the crazy sound you get when you mix the Accra with the London. What a bam bam, see the song will make you shake your bam bam. This the crazy sound you get when you mix the Accra with the London.